right back. I don't have the power to start it. All right. All right. If we could please rise and bring your hands together. right. Another round of applause for our grand entry. Danse. Kiwab, the Shinakashan, Jordan Wanch, Nia Métis. Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Wanch. I'm a proud member of Métis Nation, British Columbia, and I'm honored to be here as your MC this weekend for the 2025 Métis Nation Governing Assembly. To start us off, please welcome Tricia Tucker, who will begin with O Canada, followed by the Métis Ballad.
On the river and across the western plain, as the white man journeyed westward to the land of the Indian, a new race was created, a new nation rose up strong, hardship as its destiny and its curse to not be long. We are proud to be Métis, watch our nation rise again. Never more forgotten people, we're the true Canadian. For this newest generation and the future ones to come, with the past to motivate us, it will help to keep us strong. As we build the Métis Nation, as we watch it rise again, our past loss is motivation to inspire our future gain. We are proud to be Métis, watch our nation rise again. Never more forgotten people, we're the true Canadian. We are proud to be Métis, watch our nation rise again. Never more forgotten people, we're the true Canadian.
Thank you so much, Tricia, for sharing your gifts with us. To start things off in a good way, I'd like to welcome from Musqueam Nation, Alec Dan. Please raise your hands.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's such an honor for me to be here on behalf of the Musqueam people, my family and friends from Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Tawasin, Coquitlam Nations. You know, the area that we're located in, what we know as the Greater Vancouver area. It's the unceded territory, unceded lands of the Musqueam people and descendants of Musqueam ancestors. When we hear visitors coming into our territory, we used to meet and greet our visitors at the mouth of our river, what is now called the Fraser River, our village, Humusqueam, located there also, where I reside today. It's always an honor to be the voice for our Hualmoch, Mistimoch, people of the land, of this area. You know, to share a little bit of who I am. I come from a hereditary chief, and his name was Similanoch, and he was here with us in the late 1800s, and he ended up residing in what is now called New Westminster, a village there close to Brunette River. Sadly, he got pushed out of there, pushed across the river to another village called Kikate. His family and supporters followed him, and then started the growth of the city of New Westminster. I'm also connected to the Squamish people on my father's side. My great-grandmother comes from Squamish and married my great-grandfather, Nelson Dan, and resided in the unceded territory of the Musqueam people. You know, it's always an honor to be the voice, be the movement for my family, my community, my elders, my ancestors, my elected chief and council of the Musqueam, to welcome you here to our traditional unceded territory. We had at least 30 villages, and we had a few out here in Richmond, what we now call Terra Nova neighborhood, what we call Gary Point and Steveston, a few other villages along the river beach area, shore area, from here to what is now called the Portman Bridge, Surrey, Coquitlam, part of our territory of the Musqueam people. And as far as Horseshoe Bay on the North Shore Mountains, just to introduce who I am and the land that we all occupy, you know. So to carry on with welcoming you here, I want to share our Musqueam welcome song to welcome you here once again to our traditional unceded territory, to welcome you here to the conference that's going to be taking place in these next few days. So I'll share our welcome song. There's words in the song, and the words translate to welcome respected ones. So I'll sing the song at this time. Haichkasiyam. Siem Heights up, Siem Nisiaya. So once again, on behalf of the Musqueam people, descendants of Musqueam ancestors, our family and friends from Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Tawas, and Coquitlam, really welcome you here to our traditional unceded territory, what we call the Greater Vancouver area today. Enjoy your time here and safe travels back home to your family and loved ones. Thank you once again. Heights up, Siem Nisiaya.
On behalf of all of us, Marcy, Ginanaskomtin, Heitsepka, Heitska Siem, Mustimo Siem.
A big thank you and merci to Alec Dan for welcoming us to their territory. All my relations. Up next, I'd like to invite Senator Gladue to lead us in an opening prayer. So please bring your hands together for Elder Philip Gladue. It's a bit of a long walk. We got to keep going.
Thank you, Musqueam, for bringing us into your territory. But at this time, I would like to say to the Métis people here in this room, Tansikakyo Nwakumaganat. How are you, my friends? Miasino motakakyo ipi pistikoya ipi no testa ki way miasek. Chawasam snawakoya. Igaya wisto igune kakyo tasitos kawayako. And at this time, I'm going to say a prayer in one of our languages. And the language that I mostly speak, and my chief language is the Cree language, the Northern Cree they call it today. So I ask each one of you just to reflect on your own way of saying thank you to the Creator or God, however we see it, for this day, so that we can gather here in a safe way. So just bear with me. I'm going to use some of those words in my language. Anotawi. Asamino motakakio. Kapmasagami kapawia. Akmuntotamatnan. Tapmsawimia. Tapmsawi tamanum. Kapmitahamixia. Koyask. Koyasko tinigan. Himiasek. Nipmatsahonan. Tapmo apahtama. Doasam snanak. Nosam nanak. Higunek mina. Otatap moten geto. Anotawi. Kinaskomten. Asamina. Thank you, miigwach, morsi, kinaskumten na oho.
Elder Phil. Elder Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Phil, for leading us in this opening prayer and sharing your words with us. Now next, to begin our greetings and opening remarks, I would like to invite up the Honorable Christine Boyle, Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation, to come share some words with us.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, please, have a seat.
I was just thinking the same thing. It's not a long speech, but you don't need to stand. Thank you so much, Jordan, for the introduction. I am, and to the singers and musicians and dancers and the whole assembly. I am so grateful to be joining you here on the territory of the Musqueam and broader Coast Salish family. These are the lands I have been fortunate to call home for my whole life and where I'm raising my two kids, and so am grateful for their welcome and so glad to be here with you all. This assembly is a wonderful opportunity to come together and discuss issues that matter and that I know impact the lives of Métis people. I want to personally thank MNBC President Walter Minot for inviting me to join, and it's great to see many familiar faces from the MNBC leadership team and staff and members throughout BC. Thank you for your warm welcome. It was great to meet with President Minot and Director Patrick Harriott and Colette and others, the whole team in Victoria. I have lost all track of time, but I want to say it was February. 1,000 days ago is how it feels, but so nice to see you again and be here with you. MNBC and the provincial government continue to build our important relationship to help support Métis citizens in the 39 MNBC charter communities across BC and to work together to address the needs of Métis people in BC. The province values our relationship with Métis Nation BC. You are an important partner in our shared journey of reconciliation as we work together to fulfill commitments in the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Action Plan. We're committed to continuing to meet more regularly and look forward to getting back to the BC Métis Nation BC relations table structure and to have these important conversations and continue our partnership and to continue to work closely with your leadership team. The newly co-developed terms of reference for our working table structure will provide stability as both MNBC and the BC government move forward with new mandates. And we look forward to formalizing that new structure that will put us in an even stronger position to achieve tangible results together for Métis people. It facilitates the transition to our new relationship approach and ensures that both parties are clear about the work that we have together at that table so that we can address our joint issues and priorities and work towards addressing the legacy of colonialism and systemic racism in BC and to recognize and value Métis culture. So we're committed to continuing to work with MNBC on the many social sector priorities that we share. Our relationship with MNBC is guided by a 2021 letter of intent that guides our administration to take a whole of government approach to Métis relations. And I think we really saw that when your leadership team was visiting in Victoria and we had a reception in the Hall of Honor of the Legislature and ministers across government and MLAs across the province coming to connect and talk and learn from one another. So throughout our government, across ministries, this is work that we share together. One example is the Métis Justice Strategy, a key action in BC's Declaration Act Action Plan developed with MNBC to support justice and safety and well-being for Métis people. We're working together to put that strategy into action. BC government staff from across ministries are engaging with MNBC to find ways to work together to reduce overrepresentation and improve outcomes for Métis people in the justice system. We're working to support gender-based violence prevention initiatives for Métis women, girls, and 2S LGBTQIA+ people, and the BC government provided $2 million in funding for MNBC to lead this work. We're continuing discussions about the possibility of a relationship agreement and continuing our discussions in the social sector to advance the priorities and needs of Métis people. Aren't you glad you sat down for this? I also want to thank MNBC for your valuable contributions to the recent consultation and cooperation guidance for BC Public Service employees. The guidance describes the considerations that ministries must take when engaging in consultation and cooperation with Indigenous people, including Métis people, which is critical work that's evolving as we move forward. Working with partners like MNBC is a key part of developing those tools, such as the Cooperation and Consultation Guide, which support government across government in meeting our legislative requirements so we can be more responsive to the needs of Indigenous people, including Métis people. So please know that you have a commitment to reconciliation from our BC government. Métis people in BC are important to the rich cultural fabric of the province, and the BC government's relationship with MNBC is a vital one as we continue this ongoing work together. We're progressing in our work together to create opportunities for Métis people to thrive and to ensure access to programs and services that address the needs of Métis people in BC, and we'll continue to work together to address those needs. So thank you for inviting me here today. I just can't say enough. I'm so grateful to be in the room with you, and I look forward to our ongoing work, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your governing assembly. Thank you.
Before I present our gift to Minister Boyle, I would like to, first of all, on behalf of MNBC and all our leadership and our citizens across the province, to thank you so much for being here with us. And the recognition between our government and your government is so important to us moving forward. And to also let you know that our government approach is to lay down a friendship first, you know, get to know each other, get to work with each other, bring you in as part of our family. You know, when we bring in people into our family, you know, it just brings us closer and allows us to understand each other's concerns and work with each other a lot more. So on behalf of Métis Nation of BC and all our citizens here, I'd like everybody maybe to give her a good hand and welcome her into our family here in MNBC.
Thank you so much for your words. And up next, I would like to invite President Minot to wrap up our opening ceremony remarks, because we just can't get enough. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you, sir. Again, on behalf of MNBC, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you here today. I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives to be able to be at this table, to allow us to expand and grow our government, to be able to work together for the best interest of every community across BC, which includes all our citizens and also your leadership. Your leadership is so important to MNBC and this new government that we have created. Moving forward, your voices have been heard, and we will continue to listen to those voices as we go on. The importance of this structure that we have in place today is so important for our future moving forward. Our governance is what we rule on. Our governance is what we work with and work towards. And that comes from this table right here. All the ideas you guys bring forward on how we want to move forward, especially within your own community, a lot of these things affect our nation in a whole. I'd also like to recognize each and every one of you leaders out here, and thank you all for all the hard work that you do for our nation, for your communities, for the Métis people in a whole. Because the work we do at this table not just affects MNBC and our communities, it does affect our nation as a whole, right across Canada. Our goal in here in BC going forward, like I've stated before, is to obtain our Section 35 rights and recognition here in British Columbia. Our relationship with the federal government and provincial government are very important to the future of the Métis people in our province. And that's because of all the hard work that you guys do every day. Advocating for your communities, for your citizens, to get the recognition that we have obtained up to this point. I've been a big part of the Métis Nation for pretty well all my life. I've watched the growth of our nation. We've come a long ways, especially with the support of the federal government and our provincial government. Working with them has created a lot more opportunities for our people in this province. And we're hoping to continue those relationships, working hard towards working together to make sure that all our issues are dealt with. I know that's a big aspiration. We do have a lot of issues, so. But the rights assertion is right now my number one priority. With rights, we're looking at securing housing needs, securing issues around obtaining and looking after our own children, educational needs across the province for each and every community, each and every member, childcare needs. There's so many other issues that we deal with on a day-to-day basis with the support of this body, with your government, with your leadership. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for all you do on behalf of our nation, on behalf of our province, on behalf of your communities. And we will continue to listen to your concerns. We will go into your communities whenever you guys would like us to come in and have conversations on the directions you'd like to see us go. So at this time, I'd like you to give yourselves a big hand. You guys deserve every bit of it, all the work you guys are doing. So thank you so much, each and every one of you.
Thank you very much, President Minot, for your inspiring words and also for recognizing and highlighting the leadership in this room. It really does circle back to all the communities. Thank you all for being here. It is really appreciated to have everybody come and gather and speak to the needs of our communities. And we're going to kick things off real quick here. I have a couple announcements to share and a little bit of housekeeping, all right? First off, before we begin, the MNGA agenda and order of business, there is an announcement from the Ministry of Culture, Heritage, and Language. They're excited to announce that there's the launch of the Community Language Kits. These kits are a collection of Michif language awareness and learning resources that Métis Charter community leaders can order from the ministry of their charter community free of charge. So for our community presidents, as you have today, you'll be handed out community pilot bags. The pilot bags contain a collection of Michif language awareness and learning resources for your reference, a guide about the kits, and a QR code to the order form. We ask that you please take one of these kits home with you and survey your chartered community members to get a sense of what resources your community would find use in ordering these for. So you can find these out just at the reception desk on your way out. So, and the next announcement is from the external finance team. Do we have anybody representing here? Okay, they're all working hard outside, all right? But go see them. They're here to help us better understand how to support Métis communities in accessing grant opportunities and strengthening financial services. You'll find their desk just around the corner. And lastly, special note that all STEPS programs offices will be temporarily closed next week, so please keep an eye on your emails for the official details on that. So it'll just be a temporary closure, all right? Fantastic. And before we get to work, just wanted to announce we have a reception tonight. It's at 7 p.m., all right? It'll be in the Elmbridge room just around the corner by the West Tower elevators, all right? So please join us for light refreshments, get to know your neighbor, find a cousin or two, and maybe we'll get some jigging going. Who knows? It'll be a great night. So before we kick it off, I'd like to hand it over to the MNGA clerk to get the order of business started. So thank you all very much.
Tanche, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Excellent. So I will start with the roll call. Katie Aldred, Fraser Valley Métis Association. Great. If you could turn on your microphones when you speak, that'd be great.
Here.
David Allard, Salmon Arm Métis. Here. Dave is here, just not at his seat right now. Melanie Allard, Vice President, MNBC.
Here.
Danielle Bergevin, Métis Youth Chair.
Hello, I'm here.
Thank you and welcome. Caitlin Bird, Métis Nation, Greater Victoria.
Hello, I'm here.
And you have an addition, I see, so congratulations. Joy Bremner, Mid-Island Métis Nation.
Here.
Zev Brewer, Métis Nation Powell River.
Present.
Oh, wait a minute, I might be wrong. Did you change your name?
We changed it to Calthat Métis Community.
Thank you. Ron Caron, Vernon and District Métis Association.
Here.
Carmen Carrier, Métis Women Provincial Chairperson.
Present.
Thank you. Bernadette Chaboyer, Northwest BC Métis Association.
Present.
Alana Copeland, Fort St. John.
Here.
Nicole Corson, I believe, is joining us a little bit later. Jeff Copeland, Rocky Mountain, or Jeff Crozier, excuse me, Rocky Mountain.
Wow. Wow.
So, as a side note, Jeff put on his registration form that his preferred title is Your Excellency.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
Louis DeJager, 2S LGBTQIA plus provincial chairperson.
Present.
Betty Deck, Moccasin Flats.
Here.
Cheryl Dodman, Kelowna.
Tanshi.
Mark Dubord, Two Rivers.
Present.
Deborah Fisher, Region 4 Director.
Present.
Paulette Flamond, Region 7 Director.
Present.
Lee Fraser, Surrey Delta.
I'm here.
Rainey Gervais, Region 5.
Present.
Dean Gladue, Region 3 Director. Not in? All right. There were rumors he may grace us with his presence, so. Feb Goulet, Columbia Valley.
Here.
Thank you. June Graham, Alberni Clayoquot.
I don't think that's what I put down on my form, was it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Beautiful Graham.
I'm here, thank you.
And I missed a Goulet, so Tony Goulet, North Caribou.
Maybe, I think. I'm here, thanks.
Patrick Harriet, Region 1 Director.
Present.
Rob Anderson, Vancouver Sea to Sky.
Present.
Okay. Susie Hooper, Region 6 Director.
Present.
Brenda House, Northeast Métis Association.
Here.
Zelda Hunt, North Fraser Métis Association.
Zelda was sitting right beside me, and I see her phone and lip gloss is here. Yeah.
We'll just mark her here. Travis Jobin, Métis Nation Columbia River Society.
Present.
Jamie Keith, South Okanagan.
Here.
Okay. Alan Lavalle, Region 2 Director.
Here.
Okay. Rick Lewis, Cowichan Valley.
Present.
Tyler Massey, North Island.
Present.
Betty Ann McDonnell, Nicola Valley and District.
Here.
Walter Minot, President.
Here.
Okay. Vanessa Mueller, Tri-River.
Here.
Brianna Pelche, Chilliwack.
Here.
Christina Sample, Chris Sample, Mikisew.
Present.
Mert Servatius, Kootenai South.
Present.
Lisa Shepherd, Golden Ears.
Present.
Natasha Smith, Vermilion Forks.
Here.
Thank you. Tom Spence, Prince George Community Métis Association.
Here.
Okay. Joyce Sundin, Prince Rupert.
Present.
Marlene Swears, Caribou Chilcotin.
Present.
Heather Weaver, New Caledonia.
Here.
Okay. Anthony Wingham, Wachea.
Present.
Thank you. And I see we have someone who wasn't on my list from the Kelly Lake Métis Settlement Society.
I'm here.
And remind me of your name one more time.
Kyle Belcourt Gladue.
Kyle Belcourt Gladue, Vice President of the Kelly Lake Métis Settlement Society. There is a quorum.
All right, everyone, thank you very much. Welcome. I'm looking forward to this weekend and getting through in, as we've been doing in the last number of years. Sorry?
I have 49 present. 49.
I'm looking forward to this weekend. Just before we get to the next portion and officially calling the meeting to order, I do want to remind everyone of the standing rules that are attached as a part of the MNGA Act. You can find those at page 99. No changes, just a reminder of how we're going to try to run this meeting, really just to keep everyone on pace and everyone having an opportunity to speak who wants to be heard. So we'll call the meeting to order, and the first thing I'll ask for is a nomination and appointment of a co-speaker. Do we have someone making a nomination?
Sorry, I nominate Katie Carson.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
I can second that.
Thank you very much. Do we have Katie Carson present? Do you stand to be nominated? Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Seeing no other nominations coming forward, then by acclamation, we'll have Katie Carson come as the co-speaker. Thank you. Maybe I'll just have Katie maybe introduce herself for those that may not know her. And I will remind people to maybe turn their phones on silent. Go ahead.
Tanashiki Oau, Katie Carson, Dishinekashan. Hello, everyone. My name is Katie Carson. I am also the Region 2 Women's Rep and the Vice Chair of the Métis Women of BC. I have family ties to Duck Lake, Saskatchewan, and St. Francis Xavier, where family took scrip in Duck Lake. My family names are Ross, Delorme, Vivier, Short, Thibault, and Pierce. I currently live on the traditional unceded territories of the Halkah speaking peoples, specifically the Kakite First Nation in colonial New Westminster. And I'm very, very grateful to have the opportunity to serve as co-speaker. And I will just tell you up front that I am very nervous, and so if I start to talk very fast, that's why, and I'll do my best to slow down. Merci.
Yeah. So if I can have everyone turn to page 11 of their kit books, that is the draft agenda, and that will be our first matter that we'll deal with, looking to adoption of the agenda. And so I know there will be a wish to add something to it, but let's get it on the floor first, and I do see a light over there, and I'll recognize President Massey.
Move to adopt the agenda as written.
Thank you very much. Seconder?
Lisa Shepherd, second.
Thank you very much. So we have the agenda before us, and I know there was an addition we wanted to make, and I'll perhaps turn first to our Region 7 Director. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Paulette Flamond, Region 7 Director. I'd like to add the resolution for the acceptance of our Region 7 youth representative.
Great, thank you very much. Do we have a seconder?
I will second Danielle Bridgman, Provincial Youth Chair.
Thank you very much. So there will be, I've seen, I don't know if we have it on the screen, there'll be a draft resolution. Essentially, I understand that an interim youth representative was selected by Region 7, and this will be just the confirmation through the MNGA as we've done in others. I'm going to suggest, if you're open to a suggestion, adding that in behind, on today's behind UB1, so that would be essentially the last item we would deal with today. Is that agreeable?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So we have that addition to the agenda. Is there, I'll look perhaps if there's any objection or discussion on that addition. Not see, and just to remind and helpful, when it's by teams, when people raise their hands, it comes in order, so it makes our job easy. Here, I'm sure it'll be a combination of hands or lights that we observe. So just bear with us. We'll try to keep an accurate order. If you wish to be spoken, flag us down if you need to. I appreciate the patience, but I'm not seeing any objection. I'll look for unanimous consent. Any objection to the addition? Seeing no objection, so then we'll add that in underneath UB1. Is there any other discussion, additions, changes that anyone wish to bring forward on the draft agenda? My goodness, this will be the fastest agenda adoption ever. Knock on wood, but I'm not seeing anyone else. Then I will look for unanimous consent to adopt the agenda as amended. Any objections? Seeing none, the adoption of the agenda is adopted. So thank you very much. We are on a roll. I love it. Perhaps then we'll go on to the draft minutes, and perhaps I'll turn it over to Katie to lead us through that.
Thank you. So the next piece on our agenda is the adoption of minutes, the draft minutes from the spring 2025 MNGA, which was held on March 1st and 2nd, 2025. And I have a mover to bring it to the floor. Oh, sorry. Is that better? Okay. I'll just repeat myself for those who didn't hear me. The next piece on our agenda is the review and adoption of the minutes from the spring 2025 MNGA, which was held on March 1st and 2nd, 2025. Can I have a mover to bring that to the floor? Oh. President Crozier?
President Massey.
President Massey.
I move that we move the resolution. Sorry. I move that we adopt the minutes as written.
Thank you. And can I get a second?
I'll second that. Jeff Crozier, Rocky Mountain Métis Association.
Thank you. All right. Oh, it starts on page 14. All right.
35.
Page 14 to 35, I'm being told. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Oh. President Jobin?
Yeah, Travis Jobin, Métis Nation, Columbia River Society. I just on Region 4 there, it's Monica Parkinson representing, but we actually did split duty. So I was there for one day and she was there for the other. So I guess just add my name on
On to page 15 there.
Yeah, on page 15. Thanks.
And I have one other amendment to that same. My vice president was present on the Sunday, so that would have been Madeline Crozier, vice president, to be added to that agenda, or that minute item.
Okay. Any other corrections? All right. Can we adopt? Whoop. President Minot. Oh, question. I thought you had a question. Pardon me. All right, can we adopt by unanimous consent?
If there's unanimous consent, if there's any objections.
Are there any objections to the adoption of the minutes? Seeing none. All right, adopted.
So the next two items we have are the acceptance of reports. As you'll recall, in the last MNGA, we had the reports, most of the other reports, and we were advised that the Secretary's report and the Treasurer's report would be following and are present in the book. I believe those are likely starting around page 36. Nope. Sorry, page at the beginning there, sorry, at the front of the page. So those have been provided. Hopefully everyone has had a chance or will have a chance to look through that. For just a moment. Thank you. Yeah, if there's any questions, there will be opportunity pretty much immediately under the CEO and senior leadership update. So those questions will be able to be answered then. So I'll look for a mover and a seconder first for the acceptance.
Tony had his hand up.
Sorry, I wasn't seconding. I was just reading, and I just had is this an opportunity to ask a question under the Treasurer's report, or can we do that?
Not yet, but it will become, that will be coming shortly, the opportunity. So please save the question. Do we have a mover to accept? President Massey.
Move to accept both reports.
Thank you very much. And a seconder? I see lights down at that end. Yes, President Lewis.
Richard Lewis, Cowichan Valley Métis. I second it.
Thank you very much. I think the acceptance is usually not a debate on this, and so I will look for unanimous consent on the acceptance of those two reports. Any objection? Seeing no objection, the reports are accepted. Thank you very much, everyone. And I note the time, and I really want to caution myself here and don't say it, right?
I'll make sure I post it.
I'm just wondering, do we have our CEO and senior leadership ready to go? Since we are, what's a word I can't say?
I missed. How did that not get on there? The determination of the next meeting dates.
That's
motion. Oh,
that's motion one. All right, then I will turn. Oh, thank you. I will turn it over to Colette. Colette, do you want to sit here? Or do you want to go up there? Take my spot.
Yep.
Take my spot.
And we'll make space for the other members as well. So.
Yeah, just a point of order. How do we approve the reports if we've got questions on the reports?
Thank you for that point of order. The reports aren't for approval, if I can put it that way. They're just for acceptance, basically accepting the report. Certainly, any disapproval, if I can put it that way, can be shown through this current discussion and any questions. But it won't, because it's essentially just the report that's being provided, and so it's not it's an issue of acceptance at this point, but doesn't mean it's acceptance with approval, if I can put it that way.
Tanse, bon après-midi, everyone. It's great when we can all come together, and it's a privilege to be gathering in person with all of you. And it means a lot to all of us, the time that you take to travel to be here and provide your invaluable input and advocacy. But before I start, I do want to take a moment to address something important. I want to take a moment to address accusations against MNBC that have been made around our Métis Hub and the CRM. Make no mistake, I take this seriously. Our board takes these allegations seriously. As CEO of MNBC, it is my responsibility to ensure the integrity of our citizens' data and the integrity of our systems. We review our systems and ensure they are secure. We use independent contractors to test our systems. We prioritize security in everything MNBC does. But we can also do better, and I push our teams to do so. When a former employee came forward with information about what he viewed as vulnerabilities in our hub and CRM, we took that seriously and acted to address those concerns immediately. To be clear, work was already being done before these allegations were received. We brought in an independent contractor to assist our IT team. The team worked hard to improve the infrastructure and to test issues that were flagged. We did not stick our heads in the sand. The board was informed and kept up to date throughout the process. Since I'm responsible for operations, we are also making organizational changes to improve how our IT team operates. We are securing an independent third-party management IT service vendor who can provide the right kind and level of service. The resource will continue to assess our systems and seek to improve what we currently do. This is in process and will be implemented. These actions have already improved our systems and will continue to get better. These are only some of the things that we are doing. That said, I also need to clear up some inaccuracies. Let me be clear, we do not ask for social insurance numbers for our citizenship process. We only ask for documentation that connects you to the Métis Nation. So facts do matter, and frankly, not all the facts were shared with you. I want to be transparent. What was described in the message to you is not how we operate as a senior leadership team at MNBC. We lead with integrity and our cultural values at the center. It is our duty to act in the best interest of MNBC, our communities, and our citizens. This is a responsibility that I do not take lightly. That is why I'm tackling this head-on, and I am sitting in front of you today. This is a matter of governance, of ethics, and accountability, and I uphold that. I honor that by taking actions to address what was put forward. In a moment, I'll be happy to answer questions about this matter, but first, I'd like to briefly share with you some of the good work we have been doing over the past year. So, during the last several months, we have seen a lot of changes globally, nationally, and close to home. We have seen Canada elect an incumbent party with a new prime minister. We've experienced tariffs imposed by the US government, and we have actively participated in the evolution of Métis national politics. Yet, as Métis, we're no strangers to change. We're adaptable, resilient, and ready to innovate. We know that change is part of a natural rhythm. And although we've entered another season, I'm eager to share all the ways in which we have tended to our roots and sown new seeds. I want to say that these changes have energized each and every one of us at MNBC. These developments have boosted our efforts towards operational efficiency, mobilized the creation of new partnerships, and hastened the completion of projects that make a tangible impact on the everyday lives of citizens. Our very first change emerged from within. I first have the honor to introduce to you Anissa White as our new Director of Governance and Corporate Secretary. I'm not sure if Anissa's in the room, but Anissa brings over 20 years of experience in corporate governance, Indigenous policy, and stakeholder engagement, with a strong track record of leading transformative change across governments, nonprofit, and Indigenous sectors. Anissa grew up within her Métis family, who have deep roots in Alberta. Her grandparents come from the Todds, Norris, and Lamframboise families, and her great-grandparents include the Desjardins and Cardinal families from Lac La Biche. In her role, she leads the governance department and is responsible for ensuring that MNBC governance framework aligns with applicable laws, regulations, and MNBC's strategic goals. I want to welcome Anissa, and we're so lucky to have you. Again, I don't know if she's in the room, but honoring Anissa. I'm also thrilled to introduce Rachel Nelson as our Director of Community Engagement. Many of you have had the privilege to meet Rachel during your regional governance meetings, so you'll know that she's a huge asset to our team. Rachel brings over a decade of experience advancing education, equity, and social sustainability through innovative partnership development and strategic program leadership. Most recently, she served as the Associate Director of Partnerships and Programs at Simon Fraser University. And she led the establishment and growth of the SFU Surrey TD Community Engagement Centre, collaboration with over 100 partners to deliver transformative, community-centered initiatives. As the Director of Community Engagement at MNBC, she looks forward to implementing a community-first approach to engagement and fostering mutually beneficial and reciprocal relationships between MNBC, the chartered communities, and community and industry partners. Thank you for being here, Rachel. I see you standing. We are so pleased to have you. So you might be wondering, what is the Department of Community Engagement? And I'm pleased to share that the Ministry of Community Services has transformed into the Department of Community Engagement. This is more than just a rebrand. We want to make sure that real consultation and two-way engagement is happening between MNBC and your communities. The Department of Community Engagement will ensure that we're following best practices and connecting in a way that is mutually beneficial. We'll be creating reports after each engagement so we have a clear understanding of what's going well and what can be improved. Our work together gives me the greatest confidence that we will keep advocating for Métis people in BC in any environment during any season. Behind the scenes, we have been working diligently to make sure we have strong and stable roots. We have been adopting a centralized model which supports our long-term sustainability and operational efficiency. It will also improve financial management and encourage collaboration. In concrete terms, it means we're streamlining our approach by assigning dedicated teams to areas like grants, communications, events, and procurement to ensure we're being as efficient as possible. Our refreshed Department of Community Engagement is an example of this. We will also be connecting you with key personnel that will support your needs in terms of grants, events, and engagement. With streamlined communication and a clear understanding of responsibilities, we will continue to improve the way we work together. This is crucial given our new environment. As most of you will know, MNBC left the Métis National Council on November 30th, 2024, following a vote during our winter MNGA. This was determined to be the best way forward because remaining with the MNC would have meant being hampered by an unfair funding formula and an inequitable distribution of votes. The decision to leave has placed MNBC in a position of strength. We are able to seek and secure fair representation, advocate for our Section 35 rights, and ensure the equitable treatment of our citizens with new partnerships. One such partnership is with Métis Nation Saskatchewan. On April 8th, MNBC and MNS signed a historical cooperation agreement. This is significant because it deepens our relationship as we work towards improving the well-being and lives of citizens in both provinces. Importantly, this gives us a national voice, which we are ensuring is heard. We still hold our separate and distinct responsibilities towards our citizens, including our citizenship registries and our ability to determine our priorities in the unique position that we're in BC. We are also collaborating in government-to-government relationships, including in our ongoing advocacy for our Métis rights with the Government of Canada. The Canadian government has experienced a lot of change since the beginning of the year. With a new leader post-election, a refreshed cabinet, and shifting priorities due to Trump's tariffs, we are well poised to navigate this new environment thanks to the tireless efforts from our government and strategic relations team, our board of directors, and our senior leadership team. Years of carefully maintained relationships means that we can approach Canada with confidence. And what's more, our approach to delivering outcomes that offer both tangible and immediate benefits to citizens while also targeting systemic issues means that we have a proven track record. It's this consistency that has enabled us to maintain strong relationships with the provincial government as well. Notably, MNBC has made outstanding progress in co-creating the Justice Strategy with the province. In June of 2024, the Justice Strategy was approved by the province, and since then, we have been collaborating on an implementation plan. We have approached this work with the province in a way that is both flexible and holistic, which means it will be responsive to the needs of our citizens as they emerge. We're making sure that groups such as elders, women, and members of our 2S LGBTQIA+ community are involved and included throughout the process. This justice strategy will have a real positive impact on Métis people in BC, many of whom are community members among our most vulnerable and unrepresented or underrepresented. This is just one way in which we're currently hard at work, bettering the health and well-being of Métis people across all regions. With your effort and collaboration, we have been able to increase food security by providing funding that increases access to nutritional foods. Initiatives like the Home Garden Program, currently in its 5th year, has been expanded to send seeds to 350 households. These programs not only provide nutrition, but they increase knowledge and skills, while bringing community together, promoting social and cultural connections. In April, we hosted the first men's healing gathering in Spirit Ridge at Inkameep Desert Cultural Center on Silks Territory. 22 men from across all regions attended discussions on the impact of gender-based violence, attending ceremony with Elder Tom McCallum, and learning hide tanning from Métis artists. We believe the work of addressing gender-based violence must be grounded in reciprocal effort and care. I'm also pleased to share that a business plan for the proposed MNBC College is currently in development, alongside early work on course curriculum design. The college is expected to pursue certification through the private training institutions branch and aims to deliver accredited Métis-specific courses that are transferable across BC post-secondary systems, along with professional development opportunities. We also know that it's a priority to begin fostering cultural connections in education as early as possible. That's why I'm pleased to share that our first childcare center, Growing Roots and Mission, had its grand opening on February 14th. The Childcare Center, a project in collaboration with Fraser Valley Métis Association, has 24 spaces for Métis children in the Fraser Valley region. We have received federal funding for 5 new childcare facilities. These will be located in Kelowna, Port Alberni, Terrace, and Vernon. It's the new funding, but yes. We have a beautiful building in Fort St. John that's coming together, and we're so excited about it. But these childcare centers will give children the opportunity to receive care and education rooted in Métis culture. During their earliest years, Métis children will be immersed in Michif language, Métis ways of being, and traditional ways of knowing. It is crucial that our future generations grow up rooted in connection and care. We know we have to approach this in a holistic way, which means addressing one of our most basic needs, housing. Our aim is to reduce Métis core housing needs in BC by 50% over 5 years. We can accomplish this by conducting targeted research that identifies distinct housing needs of Métis people in BC, developing culturally relevant and affordable housing and social infrastructure, and administering housing support programs that assist our most vulnerable. We have been planning and developing apartment buildings in Invermere, Terrace, Campbell River, and Saanich, in collaboration with Columbia Valley Métis Association, Northwest BC Métis Association, North Island Métis Association, and Métis Nation Greater Victoria. These developments prioritize intergenerational community buildings, accessibility, and cultural relevance. It's by listening to the needs of our citizens that we can ensure these affordable housing developments feel like home. We've also been listening to citizens about citizenship cards, which is why we launched a new MNBC citizenship card earlier this year. After hearing from you and from our citizens, it was important that we develop a card that really meets your needs. The new design features a dogwood flower, which is a symbol of our distinction as Métis people in BC. To reduce barriers for those who wish to use their citizenship card as photo identification, we included citizens' addresses. And the hologram prevents fraudulent reproduction of the card. We know this new card is a conversation starter, and we included a QR code that, when scanned, sends our friends and family to the Métis Hub so they can create their own citizenship application. I'm proud to share that these new cards have been circulating to new and renewing citizens since February. So, as you can see, this is a season of growth and change. But instead of scattering seeds and hoping for the best, we continue to be intentional in planning for long-term sustainability while being deeply rooted in our Métis values. So merci for all of your work and dedication. I often say this, our communities are everything, and that rings true and continues to be true for me today. So merci for your ongoing contributions and your presence here this weekend. Merci. How we want to moderate this.
All right, well, Colette, we'll let you guys stay in the seats there, and I will moderate any questions that we have. So please just raise your hand or light up the light so I can see if anyone has any questions for the leadership and based on the report that we received. Any questions? I see. All right, go ahead. And please, sorry, and just for the minute taker, please, your name and the community that you're representing.
Anthony Wingham, Mochia Métis Society. Thank you, Colette. I'm just wondering, you're talking about a message that somebody got. What was, I didn't receive any message. I kind of got half explanation of what's kind of going on. So I just don't know where this message might have gone to.
It's my understanding that a message went out to the president's chat group, and that many presidents who participate in that received that message. And so I wanted to make sure that I addressed it head on, and so that I demonstrated the transparency and accountability that I know my community expects from me.
Any other questions? Go ahead, President DeBoard.
Mark DeBoard, Two Rivers. So understand that there's no sins, but sorry, just to clarify, I also didn't get the email, but what was leaked, or what was lost, I guess is the question.
There was no leak. We went through a process where we reviewed through some security testing, some vulnerabilities, and to be very clear, all systems have vulnerabilities. It's how you take action that matters, and so we addressed those vulnerabilities. There was no information that made it anywhere. So I really want to be very clear, there is no evidence to suggest that any information within our citizenship data went anywhere external.
Leader McDonnell, please go ahead.
Just a thought, perhaps a question. If leadership knew that there was the potential that information, would go out, would it not have been better to have sent us all a message about it? An email, something, just saying this might be out there and this is, it hasn't been leaked. I'm just thinking if it had gone out, then we would not all been going, at least I was, maybe not everybody else. Wow, yesterday. So yeah, just a question.
So just to be very clear, there was no data breach. And I want to make that very clear. So operationally, we took action. We ensured the integrity and security of all of our systems. There were no data breaches.
That wasn't my question. My question was, if you were aware that there was a thought that there was data breaches, wouldn't it have been prudent to just send us a small email saying, this is out there, that's not the case? When we talk about transparency, to me that's transparency, getting ahead of what could be coming up. That was my question.
And again, Leader, there wasn't a data breach. There was no data that was vulnerable. And so we ensured that we ensured the integrity and security of the system. So operationally, there was nothing to report out because we ensured the integrity and security of the system.
President Swears.
Marlene Swears from the Cariboo-Chilcotin Métis Association. There was two issues. One was the database leak that you're saying that didn't happen. I hope that wasn't the case. But the other one that I want to ask is that they are also talking about the persons or the a $500,000 payout to a company that was not a good company or a real company or however that went. So there was two issues. One was the leak and the other one was what was that company, and are you able to sue these guys if that was the case?
So I can't speak about the relationship past contractor. What I can say is we have a system. We've worked with an external company to ensure the integrity of the current system and have made it better. But I am not able to speak on the other pieces, President Swears.
But you are still working on some kind of consequence with them? Or?
We continue to investigate.
President Allard.
Yeah, hi, David Allard, Salmon Métis Association. This doesn't relate directly to this issue, but there is a bearing to it in this question, and there is a suggestion part, because I believe, everything should be seen as an opportunity, and, it's good to offer ideas and solutions. So the part of the question is towards operation and the political arm of MNBC. We're going to approve the minutes here pretty soon, and at the March MNGA, we had a resolution that was postponed. That one was presented by Leader Keith Robinson and myself. That's the enhanced transparency and accountability in MNBC reporting and financial management. So it was postponed, and it was amended that there was going to be regional consultation in town hall before the next AGM. So that's towards probably both branches of MNBC. Has there been discussion on how that would be rolled out? What would that include, the town hall and the consultation? Because I believe that can be a very good opportunity to discuss what the resolution talks about, which relates partly to what we're talking about now. In the whereas of the resolution, it mentions accountability in both financial management, which is the important part, and program delivery is critical to building trust and ensuring effective governance. So accountability, we've got to recognize we're all involved in this, so we're all part of this. How can we make this better? And I think these town halls and consultation sessions are a key opportunity for all of us to discuss these things. The matter we're discussing now, to my mind, it's potentially the right time, but it doesn't seem to be the proper format because many people here don't know entirely what's being discussed. I think it should be potentially more formalized, and it could be the opportunity to do it at the consultation session in town hall. So I wonder if there's been discussion at the board or staff level about how we can roll out these consultation and town hall sessions before the next AGM, and to make sure that they're meaningful. We just had a recent town hall that in my mind was somewhat bizarre here. And we'll address that when we talk to that resolution coming up, Resolution 12. So that's my question. Is there at least work being done about how we can discuss these matters? Thank you.
Thank you, President Allard. And yes, so I announced Rachel Nelson, who is now overseeing our Department of Community Engagement, and that particular piece has been passed off to that team to build out that engagement plan to ensure that we are connecting on that particular piece. So just letting you know, it hasn't fallen off the side of our desks. We are moving that forward.
Any other questions? Not seeing any more questions. So I'd like to thank Colette and our senior leadership group for that update. Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much, everyone. So we are next on UB1. This is the unfinished business. The Citizenship Act Amendments Adoption Clause that can be found at page 36. If I recall, and I'm going to look at the minutes for our mover and seconder. So this was brought the last MNGA and then was on the floor. There was debate, and the decision was to bring it forward to today's MNGA. So I will look for a mover and a seconder to just bring it back before us for discussion. Oh, it's already on the floor. Sorry, thank you. And so I will take hands for discussion. I see President Minot.
At this time, I would like to ask the Assembly to remove this resolution at this time. We acknowledge that there's been a lot of discussion around this issue. It's been difficult, and it's been difficult. It's been at times emotional in regards to this issue. And when we are, when this resolution was brought forward quite a few years ago, I don't think we took into consideration the effect it has on our Constitution and how we govern. What I'd like to do is I'd like to remove the resolution at this time and, you know, have some more discussion on it, you know, with a few, like Mr. Allen has stated, with our town halls.
Just a point of clarification?
Sorry, yes. Go ahead.
Isn't it that we would want to withdraw something and not, we can't remove something, right?
I think he said that, you originally said withdrawal, so I think in part of his discussion, he may have used a different term, but I understood withdraw, but I'll let President Minot continue.
Yeah, as we know, our Constitution is what we govern by. These are our laws. They override any of our policies, procedures that we put in place. Our Constitution is something that we have to abide by going forward, and there was some misconceptions on this resolution that don't confine with our Constitution. But before I go any further, I would like to ask our in-house legal counsel, Ms. Tayi, Carly Tayi, to come up and to speak on this, because we did have a lot of questions on our last town hall to get a legal opinion on this issue. So we've asked Carly to speak on this, if we could have her come forward.
Sure, I think, if you can just, you can take the podium there.
Tashikiawao, Carly Tayi de Shinikasha, na Famechef Nia, Ariel Nia, puis un Poitras, puis Nawaka Mechef Nia. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Carly Tayi. I am Métis, born and raised, as my auntie likes to say, on the banks of the Red River. I am a member of the Riel family. My great-grandmother is Sarah Riel. She is the granddaughter of Joseph Riel, and he built Riel House, which is now the historic site in Winnipeg, which means I am the great-great-grandniece of Louis Riel. I have the honor of appearing before you today for the first time as the brand new executive legal counsel for Métis Nation, British Columbia. I'm here because I was asked to consider Article 12, our Constitution, and all of our laws, and do a legal analysis to bring before you today, and to really talk a little bit about our proposal to withdraw and the importance of our laws as a nation, and to really give them the respect and the consideration that they're due as we govern. The issue before us around whether Article 12 of the Constitution is, of the Citizenship Act is constitutional. So Article 12 is about adoption. But really here today, what I'm talking about is laws. So what Article 12 sets out is a variety of circumstances, and Article 12 may be, and this is a fun word for those lawyers or folks in the room, it may be unconstitutional, depending on the circumstances that are before us. Because in Article 12, it provides for a variety of circumstances. Under Article 12 and adoption, I, as a Métis person, can adopt a Métis child, and that would be consistent with our Constitution. We have no problems with our laws. If I, as a Métis person, adopt a non-Métis child, then Article 12 is not in alignment with our Constitution. And so our laws are just like this. They're not in alignment. And so what we're asking to do is to withdraw the resolution so we can have the time to put our laws back into harmony, so that we can make sure our Citizenship Act is properly aligned with our Constitution. Now, our Constitution sets out the duties of our Board of Directors and of this governing body that I stand here before today. And I can tell you that the Board of Directors has something called a fiduciary duty to Métis people and to this governing assembly to make sure that the business of MNBC, of our government, is in keeping with our Constitution. And so when something is out of alignment with our Constitution, the Board of Directors is supposed to collaborate with our community leaders and experts to bring forward a proposal back to this legislative body for a decision. And so what that means is that as MNBC, we need to do the work of engaging with the community leaders to make sure that our laws on adoption are in alignment with our Constitution. And when they aren't, and we need to bring them into harmony, what does that look like? And that's important work. Making sure that our Constitution is our big law that governs everything that we do, and any changes that we make to who we are as Métis people, as set out in our Constitution or set out in any of our acts, is incredibly important work of nation building, and we need the time to do that properly. And so that's what we're asking for here with the request to withdraw, so that we can do that work of engaging with community leaders for the correct language, so that our Citizenship Act is in alignment, is in harmony with our Constitution. Something for us to consider as we think about this, and this isn't a little issue by any means, who we are as people and how we define ourselves, is that we also want to make sure that we hold our Constitution as sacred as our governing law. And right now, our definition of Métis in our Constitution is in harmony with Supreme Court of Canada jurisprudence or laws on who Métis people are. And so as we think about advancing our rights moving forward, we want to make sure that our definition of who Métis people are and how all of our laws connect to that are in alignment so that we have our strongest case moving forward. And so again, there's a lot of pieces here, a lot of interconnecting laws that we need to consider, and we want to do it really carefully and with a lot of purpose. And so that's why my legal advice to the Board of Directors, and they're advancing for you today, that we withdraw the resolution so that we can take up this good work with you as our community leaders to fix our laws and bring them into alignment, and that we don't risk changing on the fly the definition of who we are as Métis people, altering our constitutional law without a lot of time to consider and think about it, or our rights moving forward. It's big work of nation building and identity, and we'd love the time to do it with you.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to, maybe if there's any questions, or if I see President Goulet and President Allard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tony Goulet, North Caribou Métis Association. And yeah, I had troubles just looking at this, but what I'm hearing is you're asking from this assembly a motion to withdraw, and I'm willing to be the mover of that motion to withdraw this now, if we can get a seconder, and then probably go to debate.
Thank you. We do have a mover already to withdraw, so I will take Tony as the seconder for that. Thank you. And then I'll next turn over to President Allard.
Yes, David Allard, Sabinar Métis Association, pleasure to meet you. I would be remiss if I did not seize this opportunity to ask you a question here in regards to what you referenced. The Constitution has to be followed. To not follow it is a breach of duty. That brings to mind a question about Section 61.3. All agreements that impact Métis citizens have to involve consultation and engagement with our GCs. I'm just wondering why the Métis Nation Saskatchewan Agreement did not
I'm
respect
going to
that.
call point of order. That's not. What I'm going to suggest, President Allard, is that because it's not in the scope of the resolution that's before us, but I would encourage you to have that conversation with our legal counsel and have that discussion.
You put it in such a polite way, Dave, I'll have to stop talking.
And I appreciate that, President Allard. Before I get to President Keith, I've got President Bird.
Caitlin Bird, Métis Nation, Greater Victoria. When we first discussed this in March, and then even at the town hall last week, the tone was very different, and we've been asking for more time to do this work so we can make sure it's done in a good way. When Article 12 was brought in, as we heard in March, is that it took many years of consultation and research to bring Article 12 in, And then we were asking for more time to make sure we could do the good work that needs to be done before we look at altering it or taking it out. So I'm glad that in the last week, the tone has shifted and that now the suggestion is to take the time that's needed to do this work in a good way to make sure that it's being thoughtful and not just done on the fly, as you mentioned. So I'm in support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have President Keith.
Yes, I'm aware that registry is defined as the data and systems used by the Ministry of Citizenship to gather and store information about Métis citizens. Are we not in contradiction? My concern is that South Okanagan Métis, we do not want to see people that are already in the registry and adopted being removed. But is it not in contrary to our definitions to keep those citizens in, and will that be a mechanism used to remove those that are adopted that are presently in the system, or do they get put on hold?
Ms. Tai?
So we have the capacity, or we actually, I should say, have the obligation to interpret Article 12 in a manner that's consistent with our Constitution until we bring that forward and change it in this legislative body. And Article 12 language allows this to happen. And so there's a legal analysis principle that looks really, and you're going to love me for this, I'm sorry I'm a lawyer. But there's a legal analysis where you have to look at specific words. Words matter. And so there's an interpretive principle that says, if you use two different words, the intention is that the words mean different things. Because if you used two different words, you wouldn't want them to mean the same thing. Otherwise, you would use the same word. So Article 12 says MNBC shall accept applications. So we will accept applications from the folks under Article 12, the adoption provision. It does not require us to formally approve those applications. And so we are required to interpret right now Article 12 in a manner that's consistent with our Constitution, because our Constitution sets out that we have to uphold it. The Citizenship Act is really clear that our citizenship authority has the power to approve applications. And so our own legislation sets out a difference between accepting and approving. And the language in Article 12 is accept. So we can accept the applications, they are not automatically approved. And so we have the power as MNBC to say, until this matter is fully resolved by this governing assembly, through a proposal brought forward that carefully considers the language and in consultation and engagement with our community leaders, until that time, we have a duty to uphold our Constitution and read our laws as if they're in harmony with that Constitution. I'm not going to lie, it's messy language. And we need to fix it as a nation. We need to be clear about what we mean. And we're going to do that work. But the language allows us the space to stay consistent with our Constitution. Whether or not there are currently, as I understand from Minister Hooper, and perhaps she can speak to this, I understand there may be just a couple applications in the queue. I don't work in the Citizenship Authority. I can't speak to applications underway there. I'm here to talk about alignment of laws and bringing everything into harmony and the space to do that work.
Thank you very much. Leader McNeil, please go ahead.
Just a question, and I don't know who would clarify it, but thank you, Carly, and thank you, President Minot. So I understand there are MNBC members who have gotten a letter saying that they don't qualify because they were adopted. Now, I don't know that firsthand because as far as I know, no one in my community got that letter. But I'm wondering, would those letters, if we step this down, would they be rescinded? And should we expect that some more of those letters should go out?
So, Director Hooper?
So to my knowledge, no letters have been sent out to anybody. So I'm not sure which letters you're talking about. So no letters have been sent out to any citizens concerning this matter.
Sorry, at the town hall, before this one, I thought someone said some letters had gone out to their community members. So thank you for correcting me.
Thank you. Any other questions while we have Carly here? No. All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Taye. Where was it? Oh,
Sorry.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Marlene Swears from the Carrickbridge-Colton Métis. I just want to know then, if you're going to remove this and we're going to carry on as such, people are still able to apply, and are they going to be processed, or are they just going to sit on the side of the desk and, I don't know, a couple of years being dealt with?
So the motion, as I understand it, is to withdraw. Withdraw the move to remove. So this is a double negative situation, which I apologize. But Article 12 would remain in the Citizenship Act to allow us the time to come up with appropriate language that properly contemplates what this governing assembly wants to do with adoption. Because the language in here is not clear right now. We talked about multiple scenarios happening, whether it's constitutional or not, and we need to bring it into harmony, and we need clear language. We need to be clear so that our citizens can look at the laws and say, this is what this means. And right now, we don't really have that clarity, and we don't have alignment. So we need to do that work together to clarify what Article 12 looks like. The language in here right now means that people can continue to apply. And our Citizenship Authority and the amazing processes that they have put in place will continue, and those applications will continue according to those processes.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? And my apologies, Marlene, for not seeing that. Yes, President Keith, please go ahead.
Sorry, just to clarify, you were talking about those that have applied. I was referring to those who have already been admitted as citizens and are confirmed as citizens and are in the registry, not those that are in the process of applying.
Unfortunately, I'm not the person to answer that question. I was asked to do the legal analysis of the laws in comparison to the Constitution. I'll turn it over to Minister Hooper, and I believe...
So we do have a couple members of our citizenship team in, and if the Assembly would indulge us to have Colleen speak to this. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for that. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Colleen Hodson. I'm the Executive Director for Métis Nation BC for Citizenship and Children and Families, and a proud citizen of the nation. And this discussion is really, really good, and the questions are very thoughtful. So thank you for that, and thank you for your leadership on this, because I'm about to tell you that I'm going to rely on all of you for this. So as far as anyone we have already in the registry, and there's about 11 people that have been accepted through Article 12. We haven't sent any letters, we're not removing anybody, and the reason is because you haven't yet given me that direction. So I work for you. So the Métis government of British Columbia makes a decision through legislation, I will operationalize it for you. But the Citizenship Authority does not make those decisions. We process citizenship applications. So whatever happens in today and tomorrow or wherever or however far down the road this discussion goes, and I agree with President Byrd that it needs to be thoughtful and it needs to take some time. But whatever the decision is and however it is made, I will take my direction from all of you and make it work for the nation. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Colleen. Any other discussion on this resolution, to withdraw? Seeing no hands, I did hear a question. All right, this can go by way of unanimous consent, and I'll see if we have that first.
Is there any objection to withdrawing UB1 from consideration today? Any objection to the withdrawal of UB1? Seeing none. All right, thank you. UB1 is withdrawn.
Mr. Chair.
And I'll recognize President Goulet.
Thank you for that. And Tony Goulet, North Caribou Métis Association. And this is great discussion. And I'm looking at our Constitution, and I'm going to use number 31, where I think it's appropriate that this governing assembly strike a committee to look at the membership act and go through that work. I think we need to do the work now, and let's start that work as soon as possible. And I think that committee can be a representative, just like we've done before, with one from each region, so there's everybody has an opportunity to be within and have that discussion, and then we can talk about what a process looks like. But I think a committee at this time would be appropriate to look at this act so that we can start the work now. So I'll make that a motion that we do strike a committee to look at the act, and then I guess we'll have to figure out what that looks like, but I'll leave that up to the Board of Directors.
Thank you. What I'm going to say to that, President Goulet, there is the possibility of a motion to refer something to a committee, which we've done in the past. However, given we just withdrew it, it's not on the floor, and so I think it would be out of order to make that refer it to committee at this stage. What I'm going to, and we'd have to add it to the agenda. What I'm going to suggest is that obviously I think MNBC, the board, is hearing this. I think there needs to be a discussion on some of the legal side before, or, it sounds like from what I was hearing, some of the options, and then I think a committee would be a good idea, but I think that would have to be raised, and I don't know if we can raise it right now, what we have and what's before us. I'm just trying to see how we would do that, President Goulet. I know we have the authority to, or not me, but the MNGA has the authority to do that, and I think we might have to add that to the agenda, and that would probably go towards the end, but perhaps I'll leave it. We can think about it just maybe, and that might be something to discuss. Maybe you and I can discuss that a little bit during the break, and anyone else to figure out how we can possibly do that, and then and just carry on for now, and then figure out that, if that's agreeable. Thank you. President Minot?
Yeah, just for your information, Tony, and anybody else concerned about this issue, what we wanted to do is bring it back to, our legal counsel and some of our senior staff, registry, and, get some assertions from them, and then bring together a committee and maybe a few town halls around this, so that all our leadership has a voice in this issue. As we understand, the issue is very important to, each and every one of us here, especially for the growth of our nation. So what we would like to ask at this time, if it's okay with the Assembly, to allow us to take this back, allow us to have our legal counsel and our registry to get together and try to bring forward another resolution to bring to the next MNGA, but with the consultation with our presidents and a possible committee formed to be able to bring those town halls forward. And I think we're going to have a couple town halls on this one to make sure that we get this right. So if you would allow us that autonomy to be able to take this back to, our legal and our staff and bring something forward on behalf of MNBC, and then have our leadership here work on it, reword it how they feel that it's fit to our nation. If that would be all right with you there, Mr. Goulet?
Go ahead. Thanks, Tony from North Caribou Métis. And absolutely, I was just trying to see how we get the work done moving forward, so we don't keep hashing this out at MNGAs and previous. We just need to figure out a way to do that work. But I'm hearing that you need some time, and I'm okay with that. I'm hearing the legal opinion, so I'm perfectly fine with that. I just thought maybe we could get the process going in a way. And I would just like to see that it come back, and the communities and the regional governance councils have an opportunity to have input into that. So, yeah. Yeah, and I'm perfectly fine with that, so thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I see, no, okay. All right. I think it was when you were tapping. I wasn't sure if you're really trying to get my attention there. All right, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague here for the next resolution.
Thank you. So we're now going to turn to the interim Region 7 Youth Rep resolution. I'm going to hand it over to our clerk to read the resolution for us.
Okay, so can everyone hear me? Excellent. So this is, I'll ask for the resolution to be displayed on the screen as well. This was not included in your package because the Regional Governance Council affirmed this last night. And this is really exciting because for the first time, if the MNGA approves this, the Métis Youth BC will have a full council.
Don't clap yet. You haven't done the work yet. You haven't done the work yet.
I'll just maybe ask my deputy clerk, Judith, to zoom in a bit so we can all see it on the screen. So this is the interim appointment for Region 7 Youth Representative. It does not affect any legislation. It was submitted by the Region 7 Director in consultation with the Region 7 Regional Governance Council and the Métis Youth BC Chairperson. And it was submitted, well, today. It requires a majority vote for approval since this is under the control of the MNGA. Whereas Métis Nation British Columbia general elections conducted in 2024 and the by-elections in 2025 did not yield any candidates for the Region 7 youth representative position. The MyBC chair and Region 7 community leaders engaged in community consultation and recruitment to fill the regional regional youth representative position. In accordance with Article 13.2 of the MNGA Act and Article 47.4 of the Constitution, regional governance councils may recommend candidates to the MNGA to fill the vacancies of regional representatives. And on May 29th, the Region 7 Regional Governance Council met and approved a recommendation for the regional youth position. Be it resolved that the MNGA appoints Claire Turner as the Region 7 Youth Representative as per the Region 7 Regional Governance Council's recommendation.
Wonderful, thank you. Can we have a motion and a second to bring it to the floor?
I so move.
Thank you so much.
I will second Danielle Bergeron.
Great. And sorry, mover was our Region 7 Director.
Director Flamont.
Director Flamont. Sorry, I'm learning everybody's names. Okay, wonderful. Is there any discussion on this?
No, I'll just speak on it. We met Claire Turner through Zoom last evening at our RGC meeting, and I have really never met such a young person who is so enthusiastic. She is an elite athlete in the province of British Columbia. Her sport is soccer. She has spent numerous volunteer hours on, I guess they would call it a hotline for mental health and wellness. She's very engaged in her community. She's from a ranch outside of 101, so it is just north on the way going up to Fort Nelson. And she has just been accepted into medical school in Prince George. So she is so determined and so wants to bring back, and she actually introduced herself in Michif. So she is just a bright, bright person, and we have not had a youth rep in the region since I've been involved with the Métis Nation of British Columbia. So I totally 100% endorse her, and it was such a pleasure to hear her speak last night to us.
Thank you, Director Flamont. Anyone else like to speak to this? Go ahead, Chair Bergeron.
Thank you. Danielle Bergeron, MyBC chairperson. I think Director Flamont did an excellent job summarizing I am very excited as we've been growing the council slowly to have each new youth join the council, and I'm especially excited to put forward Claire's name today because as Nicole said, we are now, or we will hopefully soon be officially a full council, so it's really exciting and Claire is really, really amazing, and I think Director Flamont did an amazing job speaking to her. So, Marcy, thank you.
Thank you, Chair Bergevin. Any other discussion on this? I see none.
Question.
Pardon me.
Question.
Go ahead. Oh, question. Wonderful. I'll get it, I promise. Yes. So we will attempt a unanimous consent. Any objections to this motion, this resolution? Seeing none. All right. We pass. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Seeing as the time is the time that it is, because I know I'm not allowed to use that word, we're actually going to move forward to motion 1, which is the first piece of business for tomorrow's agenda, but we're doing really good. So motion 1 is listed on page 37 of our packages here. I'll just pass it over to our clerk to read the motion.
Let's light it up.
What's his name? Hello, Mr. Chair. Can we have a bit of a bathroom break, please?
Sure. Yes, let's...
10 minutes.
Let's do that. 10 minutes return, so come back at 3:15. Okay, everyone take your seats. As soon as Nicole takes her seat, we're going to read, go for our roll call. Bottom of the order.
Yep. All right, yeah. All right, thank you, everyone. We'll now proceed with roll call.
Just start reading names.
All right. We're going from the bottom of the alphabet this time. Anthony Wingham.
Here.
Heather Weaver. Here. Marlene Swears. Present. Joyce Sundin. Present. Tom Spence.
Here.
Natasha Smith. Here. Lisa Shepherd. Here. Mert Servatius. Here. Chris Sample. Present. Thank you. Brianna Pelche. Here. Vanessa Miller. Here. Walter Minot. Here. Betty Ann McDonnell. Here. Tyler Massey.
Present.
Rick Lewis.
Present.
Alan Lavallee.
Here.
Jamie Keith. Here. Travis Jobin.
Present.
Zelda Hunt. Present. Brenda House. Here. Susie Hooper. Present. Rob Anderson.
Here.
Patrick Harriet.
Present.
Beautiful Graham.
Present and beautiful.
Tony Goulet.
Here.
Feb Goulet. Here. Okay. Director Gledoux is not here yet. He will be joining us later. Rainey Gervais.
Here.
Lee Fraser. Here. Paulette Flamond. Here. Deb Fisher. Present. Mark Dubord.
Present.
Cheryl Dodman.
Tanche.
Betty Deck. Not present right now. Louis DeJager.
Present.
His Excellency Jeff Crozier.
As you were.
Nicole Corson, did she arrive? Not yet. Alana Copeland. Present. Bernadette Chaboyer. Here. Carmen Carrier. Present. Ron Caron. Zev Brewer.
Present.
Joy Bremner.
Feeling much better after a bathroom break? I'm present.
Caitlin Bird. Present. Okay. Danielle Bergevin.
Present.
Melanie Allard.
Present.
David Allard. And Katie Aldred. Here. Right, and I apologize, Kyle Belcourt Gladue.
I'm here.
Thank you. There is a quorum of 49. Thank you. And I note that Betty Deck has just arrived.
All right, so We're just going to recognize President Minot.
Just before we get going again, I'd like to give our presidents here some good news for once. As we've been discussing funding and other issues that we're going to be having, we're anticipating having, especially with new government and funding cuts that are coming right across the board, provincially and federally. But I would like to announce today that MNBC has came up with $1.2 million that we are going to be distributing to the communities in the next little while to help you with rent and other areas.
Can we have a definition of in a little while?
Well, the first allocation of money will be coming out within the next 2 weeks.
Wonderful. Thank you, President Minot. Okay, returning to our motion 1, which I will pass over to our clerk to read for us.
So, the subject of this is the 2025 to 2026 MNGA meetings. This is under the purview of the MNGA, so it only requires a majority vote, and we put it together for April 25th, 2025. Whereas the Constitution requires that the MNGA meet at least 3 times per year, once in person and twice virtually, and the Constitution further requires that the MNGA determine the dates for the next MNGA at a previous MNGA, be it resolved that the MNGA meet on the following days as indicated in the table below: December 6th and 7th, 2025, meeting virtually; March 7th to 8th, 2026, meeting virtually; and June 5th to 7th, 2026, meeting in person.
Thank you, Nicole. And before we move this to the floor, I just wanted to point out that in the MNGA Act 5.1, it does state that meetings shall ordinarily be scheduled for winter, spring, and summer of each year, specifically the first weekends of December, March, and June. Should any of these dates fall on a designated holiday or a time change, the meeting will be held on the last weekend of November, February, or May. So these dates have been chosen in accordance with that. Can I have a mover and seconder to bring this to the floor, please?
Cheryl Dodman, Kelowna Métis Association, I so move.
Thank you.
June Graham, Alberni Clayoquot.
Thank you. President Dodman, if you'd like to speak to the motion.
I just want to speak in favor. I do believe that the research that was done was probably in our best interest. I trust that it was.
Thank you. And President Graham?
I just second it to move it along, so.
Thank you. Appreciate the efficiency. Okay. And I'll recognize President Minot.
I don't know if this is the time, but you guys might not like me for this. I would like to make an amendment to this resolution. we haven't had this discussion with our board of directors, so I'm sort of surprising them here as well. What I'm looking for is, you know how we move our AGM around every couple of years, and this year's AGM was first originally supposed to be in Terrace, but because of complications around flights and hotel rooms and stuff like that, it's a lot tougher to put our AGMs in the smaller communities where there's harder access through air and ground travel. I would like to see our MNGA move to some of them smaller communities, instead of having it here all the time. I think that brings our government, into those communities that we'll never be in at this level. And our MNGA is smaller to bring our people together than the AGMs. So I don't know how we would word that, but if you guys would allow us to make that change, I think it just allows us to get into those smaller communities and get them more involved within, our government, and to be able to see our leadership and how we all interact together, and get some more ideas from rural communities out there on, our governance and how they'd like to see us grow and move forward. So I don't know, I'd go to the clerk on, see whether we can make that that change to this one, or would it have to be a whole new resolution brought forward?
I would just like to ask Speaker Pelchier to speak to this.
So I've just been looking through the MNGA Act. It defines when the meetings need to occur, the MNGA meetings, but does not define or require where they occur. I think the resolution is required because of that. But I think it would be an operational, or whether it's a decision of the body or whoever wishes to make that decision, it's not clear on who would be required to do that because it hasn't been contemplated and it's not set out within the legislation that, for example, it's the MNGA or the MNBC board or whoever makes the determination on where, just because I think it's always been in the Lower Mainland. What I might suggest is that that we vote on the dates as provided, and then given that the next MNGA would not, well, the next in-person MNGA would not be until basically a year from now, that the board or MNBC can perhaps discuss options and what it would take operationally to do that, and then discuss with the community presidents whether that's at the next MNGA or interimly, like through email and whatnot, and then could even do the vote in December for the June location. I'm just throwing out some options based on the legislation, and we haven't had this situation arise. But I do see a hand, Leader McDonnell.
Betty Ann McTonnell, Nicola Valley District Métis. I'm wondering if it would be possible if we could change the date for the in-person to May 28th to 31st. The reason I ask is that first week, we always have Aboriginal grad. And that is one of my favorite times of the year, is to be there welcoming. And our numbers are growing every year. There's more and more Métis gradding, and I don't want to miss that. And I know it's not all about me, but I just thought maybe we could do that.
Thank you. What I'm going to suggest, and I see President Byrd next, I'll put a brief pin in that for a second, Leader McDonnell, and we can just try to resolve what we want to do about location and how to resolve that. Yeah, so we have to, because Walter raised this, and we have to decide if that's something we want to, if that's going to get added, for example, as a amendment to this resolution or something to be dealt with later, and we can decide that, and then straight to that. President Byrd, and then I have President Crozier after next.
Mine was on a similar line of thought as President McDonnell, so you can come back to me after we deal with the motion on the floor.
President Crozier?
It's probably out of order. However, I would motion that we have the MNGA in Region 4 for June, or May, or whatever date we decide.
The in-person one. Give just a moment. I have two. I think I had President Bremner first.
I actually find it an interesting possibility, Walter. And one thing I think I would really appreciate, as would everybody in the room, if MNBC would agree to actually provide the smaller communities with a bit of funding so they could showcase where they live, if we should be attending an MNGA in their community.
Thank you very much. President Shepherd.
Lisa Shepherd, Golden Ears Métis Society. I bring this up just because it was mentioned. I heard you say something about not falling on a time change. My calendar shows that the March 7th, 8th is actually a time change. It would be the spring. We'd be springing ahead and losing an hour.
Thank you very much. Chairperson Dieger.
Louis DeJager, 2S LGBTQIA+ chairperson. I'd like to see if we're going to make any decision like that. I'd like to see a little bit of costs of what it's going to take to move all of these people with accommodations, rooms, meals into remote areas. I'm just not sure we have the option to go anywhere we want to go. So I'd like to see a little of that built in before we make a decision.
Thank you very much. And perhaps I can ask, whether it's the board or our staff, and this may assist, I think, in that discussion, is how far ahead the MNGAs are planned. Obviously, we know with AGMs where they're going to be, because that, I'm just, again, looking at timelines, if that is something to be, that if we were to, for example, vote on a location in December, would that be enough time, a half a year or not? I think that might assist, certainly in how I decide, or how I feel we should be able to approach, given again the lack of guidance from the legislation.
So if I can. Just to fill this in a little bit, maybe while we can get some of our event staff here. The actual planning for the MNGA usually starts about 6 or 9 months before the actual MNGA. So there's quite a bit of staff time and work that go into this. And that includes finding a venue. Now, as you'll remember, we had to move the AGM simply because we couldn't find a suitable venue in Region 6. The team looked at several locations, different cities, different towns, and just nothing was available for those dates. So in doing this, we do need, if we want to go to regions probably other than regions 1, 2, possibly 3, we need probably at least, I don't know, a year's notice. And I see our events manager has arrived. So, but I was just saying that changing the MNGA to another region other than Region 2, we'd need probably some additional notice, probably up to a year, to get a suitable venue. And I would turn that over to Marielle Hong, our events manager.
Hello, hi everyone. Marielle Hong here, events manager for MNBC. Thank you very much. Yes, we do require at least a year to plan these because these are such large events. They require a lot of logistical planning, hotel reservations, scoping out venues, making sure they meet all our needs and requirements. There are lots of large conferences that happen like this, and so venues book up quite quickly. So please, I would ask you to consider giving us at least a year's notice to properly plan it so that we can execute it in a really good way so that you can do the business that you need to do in a good way.
Thank you very much. I see President Shepherd.
Yeah, Lisa Shepherd, Golden Ears Métis Society. Can I suggest that we move the March 7th, 8th to February 28th, March 1st? I wouldn't want to go the other direction because we get close to fiscal year end.
And spring break and things like that as well, perhaps. Yes, so again, as of right now, trying to address the location first, and then we'll get into both the time or the date changes. But thank you for pointing those out because that would follow the legislation. If it falls on a time change, then it goes to the last weekend of the month before. So given, I think, the information, and I'll turn over to President Massey in just a second, but I'm inclined to just proceed as we normally would. I think because a year.
So the problem would be...
Sorry, just a moment.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'll go to President Massey first.
So if I can just ask for a friendly, why don't we consider this in 2027 instead of 2026?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Just a friendly amendment, if we can consider moving the location to 2027 and leave 2026 here. Give the events team 2 years' notice.
I think that makes a lot of sense, given the idea of just trying to spring, and again, doing these on the fly, and we had issues like this, right, with when we were setting AGM dates before, locations before. So I agree, and I think we're adding on here, the summer 2027 in-person MNGA be held, and we can pick a couple different regions and work from there. That would also give the MNGA time to or communities, let's put it that way, communities to come forward to put proposals and then be able to have a couple of MNGAs to discuss, certainly to give enough time to have that 1 year lead up. But I appreciate the suggestion by President Minot to at least get that kind of ball going. So I'm going to look for, and I'm going to take President Massey's suggestion. Does the wording there under Part B, is that sufficient? I see a thumbs up. I'm going to look for a seconder for that amendment, that adding the B. I see President Crozier.
Yeah, Jeff Crozier, Rocky Mountain Métis Association. I'll second that.
Thank you very much. And we'll just deal with B first. Is there any objection to adding that amendment, that wording? Is there any objection?
As the one who moved it to begin with, I'm actually in favor. My whole idea behind it was to actually start to change the direction of the MNGA to get more inclusion of our smaller communities, and this is the right direction. You know, it might take us a while before we set it up, but it gives us the time to change operations, find out the financial implications of it, and I think this is the perfect way to go. Now we have it on the table, and we're having those discussions to be able to move our MNGA into other communities, because we know our AGM can't go into most of our smaller communities, but our MNGA is not as big, so we will be able to move it around a little more efficiently to come into these smaller communities. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. So is there any objection then? I will look for unanimous consent for the addition of the Part B to the motion. Seeing no objection, thank you. So that'll be included. So now it's the motion as amendment. And then I will now turn back to Leader McDonnell. I know you had suggested changing the June 5th through 7th in-person dates to the May 28th through 31, correct?
That's correct, and I explained why.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that? So we'll go a piecemeal basis here, each step. I see Vice President Allard.
Yep, I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to start, just a moment, I'll put you on my list. I'm just saying that we're going to start a list. We're going to deal with just the in-person dates, the June 5th, and specifically the proposed amendment to change it to May 28th. So if you wish to discuss those dates only, raise your hand. I'll start a list. Once we've settled that, then we'll move to other sets of dates if necessary. So I have President Bremner.
I actually have missed the grad in my district this year because of the dates today. And we had 54 graduates. And so obviously that May 28, 31, that whole time of year is very difficult for us, and it's hard to miss those graduations, because that means so much to our young people that have put all that effort in. So that's just a consideration around the date. And yeah, I bet they missed me too.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to? Oh, thank you, President Byrd.
Thank you. Once we have a moment, I was going to put forward a motion to switch the virtual and the in-person back to how it was because of that very thing. There are grad dates all throughout the end of May and beginning of June. And so guaranteed, no matter which dates we choose in that time frame, somebody around this table will not be there to share in that celebration with their communities. So once we have a moment, I'm going to put forward a motion to switch back to having in-person in March or February, whichever one that is, and the virtual back to June. So I'm whatever way you want to make that.
Sure. So what I'll do, we'll just work on the dates for now with that caveat in mind that the proposal to change the in-person and virtual dates. But until we get, let's first try to set our date first. And I see President Swears next.
Caitlin, you live in a tropics, but I don't really want to travel anywhere in March and February in the winter time. The north is bad enough to navigate, and so although it would be nice to come and see all your little flowers, I don't want to travel in here. So I'm speaking against that one.
All right, thank you. Any more discussion on changing the dates from June 5th and 7th to May 28th and 31st? President Caron.
Ron Caron with the Vernon District Métis. I'm in full agreement with what she just said. Traveling those north roads, I came from Prince George, I now live in the Okanagan for a reason. You do not want to be traveling on those northern roads or through those mountain passes in the middle of the winter like that. Those storms can be brutal, and it's probably, first off, not safe. Some of the remote places you have to drive to, you can't fly in. So I would say in person, I would say stay to the dates where you can actually drive somewhere, right?
Thank you, and I appreciate those comments, and certainly safety is a major issue that we want to make sure everyone's getting to and from safely. Let's try to just stay on the topic of the dates for now. We'll leave the in-person virtual aspect down to come up later. We'll do it step by step. I see a microphone over there. Yep, please go ahead.
Yes, Katie Aldred, Fraser Valley Métis Association. Just looking at the dates, what if we switched it to the other side and did the end of June instead of the end of May? And then that way we are able to have our people attend their kids' graduation. I know it's a little bit difficult because we all kind of want to go on vacation, but it negates the need to either not attend or have somebody else attend for them.
Yeah, part of the difficulty, and we just have to do the math or the calculations, because there has to be sufficient time between the MNGA and the AGM, so all these extra dates that we've been adding, which is good because it's helpful, obviously creates other issues and problems, but thank you, those are good comments. And so what I would suggest is if for example, this fails, and the dates are kept in June 5th, there can be, if someone else is wanting to bring an amendment and there's a seconder, we can propose new dates. Did you have your hand? Okay, President McDonnell.
I can see that it's important to every single person, and I absolutely understand and agree, so I will withdraw the dates for May 28th to 31st.
Okay, sure. Do we have this is on the floor, so there was a seconder. I'm going to look for unanimous consent to withdraw. Is there any objection to withdrawing the proposed change from the May to June, or sorry, June to the end of May? Any objection to the withdrawal of that proposed amendment? Seeing none, and I thank my seconder for giving me comments. Okay, so we will go back to the original June dates. Thank you very much. And then I will we'll look at the March dates. Given that those fall on the time change, I'll look for an amendment for that. But this, I think, to comply with our legislation, it should be changed, and the suggested change, according to the legislation, would be the last weekend of February going there. So, President Shepherd moving that.
I so move.
And do I have a seconder?
Zelda Hunt, I second.
Thank you very much. So we have that. Is there any objection, given that basis, for this amendment? All right, thank you very much. Seeing no objection, we'll change those dates. now, that one last one, I know we've had a couple of discussion. I will open it up if there wishes to be a formal motion to amend, and I'll turn to President Byrd.
Yeah, I put a motion forward. I do hear you, Marlene, and I know that is a consideration, but I'm still going to put it forward just for discussion.
So the motion is to amend the February 28th to March 1st dates as in person and the June dates as virtual. Do I have a seconder for that? President Lewis?
Richard Lewis, Cowichan Valley Métis. Seconded.
Thank you. So we have a new amendment there. Any discussion on changing from the summer in person to now a spring in person? President Crozier?
Jeff Crozier, Rocky Mountain Métis Association. If I'm not mistaken, we kind of did this the last MNGA. We switched it because it was earlier and people had decided saying it's too treacherous to travel, can we have it later? And so we did, and now it seems like we're going back again. So I would be against this simply because here we are, and it's beautiful, and the timing is great. Respectfully said.
Thank you very much. What I might say, certainly there can be times where discussions happen on previous MNGAs. Maybe things change. Maybe everyone's like, you know what, we don't like it down here in the summer. Maybe it's it. I'm going to just point that out, but I appreciate the comments. So I think it is in order for the conversation since it has been raised, but I do appreciate and pointing out the discussions that we've had in the past. I have President Jobin.
Travis Jobin, Métis Nation, Columbia River Society. Yeah, I'm speaking against this amendment. We moved it last time just based on the travel and weather. It's a lot nicer for lots of us to travel this time of year. Thanks.
Thank you very much. President Goulet.
Thank you, Tony Goulet, North Carolina Métis, and I'm against this as well. I think it's the travel piece being in the middle of the province. Flight delays, getting here could be problems, and it's just that travel piece for me. I get the intention, and let's try and change it a bit, but I think the travel piece is huge for me, so I'll be voting against this amendment.
Thank you very much. President Shepherd.
Yeah, Lisa Shepherd, Goldner's Métis Society. I'm voting against this. Our friends in the north have told us that they can't get here easily, and if we're concerned about a time change and making sure that everybody's here at the right time, I think that we need to listen to them. So I'm voting against this.
Thank you very much. President Minot.
Yeah, I will always respect the wishes of this assembly, but I would also have to speak against this resolution because of the fact of the road conditions and everything. Us that live up north, we have them struggles, especially when we don't have airports near us and we have to try to travel to those airports to get here in that time of the year. And it sort of shows here today. I think we've never had this much inclusion in our MNGA with all our leadership here. I think we're missing one person and one director. So we have the representation of just about every community with us here today, that we've held it in the summertime where everybody can travel and they're safe. So my concerns are the winter conditions that we have to travel on, even just to get to an airport. Sometimes it's difficult to drive that extra 100 kilometers to be able to fly out to come down to one of these.
Thank you. President Chaboy.
I'm totally in agreement with everybody who's not in agreement. I had a heck of a time last time, and I ended up missing my flight. And yeah, I mean, I work full time, so like the rest of us, all of this is volunteer, and I ended up missing a day's wages because of it, right? So I agree to disagree.
Thank you. I do have a few names on the list, but I have heard questions. So I've got next Director Hooper.
So yeah, just to repeat, bring ourselves back to last March at the River Rock, when our last MNGA was, the extra costs that were incurred by our citizens sitting at this table, such as days wage lost, extra hotel rooms, et cetera. So I'm just repeating what everybody is kind of saying. So I will speak against this. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairperson Bergevin.
Thank you. On behalf of MyBC, I'm also speaking against this. March is a really busy time, and if we think about supporting and promoting youth engagement, the council would prefer to keep the in-person in June. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Fisher?
Yeah, I'm speaking not in favor of the winter travel. I've had an incident where I was actually stranded with no cell service for 14 hours between Invermere, actually Radium Hot Springs, and Calgary in a storm. So I speak against travel in the winter.
Thank you. President Allard.
I support this because Caitlin's a friend. Just kidding. I'm against this.
I was worried you said that she's a friend, just kidding. And that was going to be it. President Byrd, please go ahead.
I thank everyone for their thoughts, and if I can, I'll withdraw my motion.
So since it's on the floor.
It's on the floor. Is there any, do we have a seconder to withdraw?
Yes, the seconder will withdraw as well because he just realized that there's still ice on the ponds up there for good fishing, so.
Any objection to withdrawing? Seeing no objection, it is withdrawn. So we are now back to what I see on the screen. I'm going to...
Question?
I did hear question. Thank you. I'm going to look for unanimous consent for the dates as provided, the method as provided, and with the direction that the summer 2027 in-person MNGA be held in either region 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, whereby it is operationally feasible. And of course, that'll give enough time for the communities or regions to kind of put their foot forward and make suggestions. Is there any objection to the motion as amended? I'm seeing no objection, and my watch is 15:59, so it passes. We are one motion or resolution ahead of schedule, and we are done for today. We'll see you all back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
There's nothing in here tonight, is there? We leave our stuff.
The reception's at 7. I see. Okay. Oh, and if you've signed those forms, give them to Nicole.
Or Judith.
Or Judith.
Oh, well, it is what it is. Betty Ann, do you have your form? Did you give it in? No. Oh.
Give Mark his back. I'm not delivering.
Ron's got the job.
I'm just kidding.
I open it up to do it.
Jesus Christ.